So, without further ado, I want to bring up Janine. She's going to come up and give us a case study of one of her properties in Austin. And is it Georgetown? It's close enough. I mean, it's in that area. It's north of San Antonio.
It sure
I know
is.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll be going there. So excited about it. So Janine, tell us about who you are. Who are you?
Well, I'm Janine.
Hi, Janine.
I've come here to share some information about myself. No, before we joined Lifestyles, I was an academic language therapist. I worked for a small independent school in Austin that serves students with dyslexia, and had a great career. Found that I, had a hard time putting dinner on the table, and found out about Lifestyles. My husband. He worked for Apple, and before he worked for Apple, he was in the hotel management. He did hotel management. And in 2016, we joined Lifestyles, started investing passively, and now today we're leads on 4 properties that are in the North Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown areas.
So if you think you can't buy in Austin, you're wrong, because you've been successful on lots of properties there in Austin.
Yeah. You just got to be patient, persistent. Which I think, by the way, you probably have to be anywhere, right?
Probably so, yes. All right, so why did you join Lifestyles?
Yeah, our work schedules were not that flexible. Everybody thinks education, you get the summers off, everything's so easy, you get off at 4:30, but actually it's a lot more than that. I mean, it's a huge commitment, and you feel like you got to be there for those kids all the time. So anyway, yeah.
Are you taking papers home and grading at night? I mean, is that?
Yes. The biggest thing was that I felt like I could never take a day off, which is very hard. Yeah. You want to take a day off. You want to go to a family reunion that's not during the summer. It's challenging. And there's not, I don't know if you guys know or not, but there's not a lot of money to be made in education. Though it's very fulfilling.
A labor of love.
Yeah, it really is. There's just not a whole lot of growth to be had. So when we had learned about Lifestyles, my parents had joined Lifestyles before we did, and we just watched them and watched their growth and their successes, and asked a ton of questions and just jumped right in.
Awesome. So then we're going to talk about Garden Trails. Tell us a little bit about that property.
Yeah, it's 48 units. It was built in the early 70s. We bought it 2 years ago in 2022 in October. This property, actually, I drove by it all the time because we own the property that is right around the corner, and it's 100 units, and we had owned it and managed it for 2 years, and we really, really loved the area. And this property was just sitting there, so sad, and screaming my name all the time, every time I drove by. So we ended up buying it, which has been really cool. We paid, it was $5.75 million, $120,000 a door. The cash out of pocket was $6.34. We didn't have any initial financing. We just bought it cash, and our rehab budget was about $600,000.
Awesome. And so your income and expenses there.
Wait, you just glazed over.
Come on, talk to me. How many investors did you have in the deal?
Are you going to at least talk about
we'll
the
go we'll do that now.
$6.3 million? No, you take it over. Come on.
Did you have $6.3 million in your pocket?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you had some other folks come in on the deal?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
How many people did you have help invest?
I think we had in this deal we have about 70.
That's awesome.
Many of them are partners in our first deal, the one that's across the street. So of course, when we told them about this one, they were really excited about it.
You own one across the street?
Yeah,
right around the corner.
She used to pass
And the
by
great
this one.
part about it is it's 100 units, and this is 48, so we can run it all with one manager, which was actually really beneficial for both properties.
So you went from 100 to 48 because it was whispering your name every time you drove?
Oh, gosh.
No,
if you saw this, it'd be whispering your name, too. I'm pretty sure you would have been sold.
It was screaming your name.
Yes.
So you had 70 investors in it. What was your lowest investment that you allowed for this?
I think $25,000.
$25,000.
Yeah.
And then are all of these 70 folks in Texas? They all live up in Round Rock?
No. All over. We have some from California, Michigan. I think we have a couple from New Jersey. Yeah. We do have a lot of Texas partners and passive investors. We see a lot of people at events like this and get to know them, and that's part of the community here.
Yeah, it's great to have a good network like that for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, so then now we go into
Now we can go forward.
Now,
yeah, because everyone's like, oh, she did it for $6 million, but
yeah, just pulled it right out of her pocket.
I didn't.
if you had 25 grand, you could have jumped in this deal too.
True.
Yeah, see?
Let's talk a little bit about the general finances of the property.
Okay.
Okay, so
She wants you to take it.
all right, so income's about
Are you taking
65.
it?
About 65. Your expenses are about 30,000, so your
Yeah.
cash flow about 24,000 a month.
Which,
right?
okay, our expenses are pretty low. You can
They
tell
are,
it's below
yeah.
50%.
No, that is.
Yeah.
It's very good for sure. NOI is about 37,000, and then so you did you bought it cash, and so since then you have already gone through and done your initial finance, and at that time you gave everybody back $4 million of the original 600 or 6.
Yeah,
63%.
63% of their original investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was in a year?
just in October, this past October.
So how long did it take you to do that?
2 years.
Okay, 2 years. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So current valuation would be, let's see, $8.2 million at a 5.4 cap rate. And that's a totally fair number for Austin right now. Austin has typically been a very low cap rate area. And so 5.4 is definitely not a compressed cap rate for that area.
And if he's talking Greek to you right now, come take the class. I'll explain
Perfect.
what cap rate is. Okay.
Yeah, the whole valuation. So, all right. So let's
you can
talk a little bit about.
Can't you see how sad it was on the before picture?
Yeah. So we
Look
got
at that big
befores
mud
and
pit
afters
in the middle.
So what'd you do? It looks the same to me. What?
What?
Huh?
No. Look at all that.
She threw some rocks down, and that's it.
Yes.
Just put
I
gravel.
mean, there are giant puddles. You could swim in those. It's like you have a pool, but you don't.
Well, that's an amenity. You took it away?
Yeah, I did. I removed that one. Yeah, I don't think
feature.
the residents thought it was an amenity.
No. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, we landscape, xeriscaped, lots of rock and some plants. You can't see the plants in this picture, but now they've grown. We have a couple of trees and some nice plants. I don't know if you can see
It's like a pergola you put in
yeah,
there?
it's a pergola and it has a built-in grill.
Oh, nice.
And a picnic table, and it's a nice area. People gather and
Cool. So then the people probably appreciate the fact that you've put some blood, sweat, tears, and money into that, made it look nicer.
We painted it. We did all this stuff right away, like within the first few months. We had everything lined up, new signage, everything, repainted, did any exterior repairs we needed to do and all of that.
It does look a lot better. I was teasing you.
Thanks.
Talk about your interiors. What'd you do on the inside?
Yeah, actually, the interiors, they were kind of a hodgepodge, but they weren't in terrible condition. The cabinets were all in great condition. So we left those. Sometimes we have to paint them, but just resurfaced countertops, nice black appliances. I actually can't really see the floor in there, but a lot of the floor is this old tile, just really old tile. And
Like the 12 by 12 stick-on tile?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we put some plank. We put plank throughout. So that's nice. We add a microwave when we can, which some of the floor plans allow us to add a microwave and some don't. But people really like that.
All right.
And then here's the bathroom. Framed mirror. Again, it's not super fancy. It already has some nice cabinetry in there. So
Yeah, it looks great. Nice and definitely a little bit better than clean and functional. You got some nice finish outs there.
yeah, we do a little mini model. You can see the shower curtain. So we don't have a model unit, but we just kind of move this, what we call a mini model, as we
Move it around?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you lease it and then you take it to the next one.
Yes,
Yeah, gotcha.
yeah.
Good idea. So then looking at the numbers here, so year one, you're going to see the income grow, and there's a pretty substantial year one step there, and also year two just looks or year three as well. Your operating expenses looks like they've kind of normalized up, and then just we're projecting year three to be about 370. So the main number that we want to look on here is the NOI. And like Chris said, come to the 2-day class and you'll learn how multifamily and commercial properties are valued, and the NOI is the key component to that and the cap rate. You got your mortgage there and then your cash flow. And the little bullet there, it comes out better on the screen. So after year two, you've distributed a little bit of cash on cash, and then you gave everybody 63% of their money back, and they're still going to get cash flow. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
So then let's look at it if we were going to sell in year three. So if we wanted to sell in year three, that NOI at 465 comes to a property value of about $8.6 million, and you bought it for 6.3 all in. 6.3 all in.
6.3 all in.
Yep. So you got to pay the rest of the debt off. This is the debt from the initial finance after you've given everybody their 63% back.
Yep.
Return the rest of the capital that's left in the project, that $2.3 million, and then you add back in the cash distributions. So you got a total equity capture and cash flow of $2.3 million, which comes out to about a 36% return after 3 years. Now, the Austin market is really hot, and then it's kind of died down with all of the growth in there, and so obviously you're not going to sell it in year 3 because it wouldn't meet your
Probably wouldn't make
performance.
sense, yeah.
So if you take it back to a more normalized cap rate, and we say just, a couple of years, year 5, you're actually looking at about a 76% return, and that would probably be something that you'd be closer to executing on.
I think so, yeah.
So 76% return, anybody be happy with that? Is that better than your 401k? Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I'd be on that one. Yay! All right, so then the NOI. We said that's the main thing that you can control, that drives the value of the property.
Yeah.
And so what'd you do? Give us a few things you did to improve the NOI.
Well, we did all of our rehab up front, and then we sent a very strong message to residents that we were there to help. We knew what we could raise the rents to because we own the place right around the corner. And so we raised the rents. We upgraded the units, not to the highest standard ever, but to what we knew made sense in that market.
Did you do basically the same finish outs on that new property as you had existing?
We do, yeah. It's pretty much the same. And we improved the amenities. We added the grill and the pergola and made the common area in the middle of the courtyard an area where people felt proud to be, to hang out, with their neighbors and everything. Probably one of the biggest priorities that we have with any community is our on-site team and just making sure we have the right people in the office and taking care of the residents, because really what we want is for residents to stay and continue to enjoy where they're living and tell their friends and family about it, so that we're creating a community where people don't want to peace out in a year,
Right. How was your retention that first year?
It was surprisingly good. We had expected a bunch of people to move out. There were pretty high delinquencies, so I think we expected between maybe 7 and 10 residents to just either we were going to have to say, hey, you're going to have to leave because you aren't paying your rent, or they were going to choose to leave. But we expected to have quite a few move outs, and really we only had one person. It turns out all you have to do sometimes is just ask people to pay, and then they do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And maybe that was
technique.
the problem they had before, was they just weren't asking.
They forgot. They're
Yeah,
like,
I
thought there was something on the first.
Oh,
I don't
that's
remember.
okay. You can pay next month. But then when we say, actually, you can't pay next month, but I need you to pay right now because, we have to pay a mortgage, we have to pay bills and all this stuff. And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, here you go. So we only had one move out, and our retention rate that first year was really high. I mean, it was above 70%. I think a lot of the residents that were there and we were raising the rents on renewals by a lot, but a lot of the residents that were there had just seen, oh, wait, there's all these great changes that are happening. We're happy. I'm proud of the place I live now. And they wanted to stay, and they were willing to pay more. Also, what we were raising their rents to wasn't anywhere near what they would have paid. Even though their rent was going up significantly, it's still, if they went to go find another apartment in the area, they were going to pay a whole lot more. So we were kind of really trying to find that sweet spot.
Did you have anybody that transferred? So like you have your model there?
We did have a few, yeah.
So they appreciated the fact that you were doing the interior upgrades, and your price point obviously was good. So why not stay there?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So how has lifestyles made a change in your life?
Yeah, we have so much more flexibility. The ability to grow is on our time. And if we want to buy a new property, we can be looking for a new property to buy. If we don't, then we don't have to be, and we have control over that. Traveling is so much easier and more flexible, which is great. I mean, we really, really love to travel. And
where's the last place you went?
I'm trying to think. Well, my husband's from Brazil, so we go there every couple of years. We We
don't
went.
think you probably wouldn't have been able to do that with the teaching?
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. But yeah.
You went on a cruise?
Oh yeah, we went on a cruise.
My magic
did.
8-ball says you went on a cruise.
South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. Yeah.
Cool. Where are you going in December? Where are we going in December?
Breckenridge.
Nice.
Now you travel so much you can't remember where.
Yeah, she doesn't know where she
I
was
know,
at
it's-
last.
Look at that.
That's
Oh,
embarrassing.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I went on a
yeah.
cruise. Yeah, that's right.
Also, it's really fulfilling. It's really fulfilling this career to see, to make a place where someone lives their home and
Yeah.
to be a part of that.
You're building a community,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. One thing I had worried about transitioning from education, the career that I had before, and moving into real estate was, am I going to feel fulfilled? Am I going to I felt like I was really making a difference. But I'll tell you, I do feel that way in a different way.
Right.
And also I get to go to every volleyball game and every track meet and take them to practice and go to the park after school, Things if I need to work in the evening, I can work in the evening, and that works. I'm not tied to that schedule.
You got a lot more freedom for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next for you? Short-term, long-term goals?
Just enjoy our time together with our family and friends. And long-term goals, I think maybe eventually we'll be independent rental owners, or, we look at deals all the time, and when the right one comes across our plate, we might do another deal with partners, or, we'll see where we go.
Yeah, the future is so bright.
Yes.
Excellent. Who's on your team?
You guys.
Oh, yeah, there we are. There.
You and Jeff, Teresa, our operations consultant. We use Dodson Legal for our acquisitions, and John Logan was our insurance broker on this deal and some others.
Awesome. Anybody have some questions? All right.
And our partners. We couldn't do this without
Big
our
time
partners,
partners.
really.
Yeah, you got a lot of partners on that one.
Do you have any partners in the room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at all the smiles. Big smiles.
Especially the guy in the red jacket.
Yeah, I know, man.
I've known that guy for a while. That's my dad.
Question, yes.
This is the first multifamily case study I've seen where you paid cash and didn't have a loan. It seems unusual.
Why was it a cash purchase versus initial finance?
I think it's pretty rare. So on this one, again, we knew the area very well. The lenders really hated this deal, and I think our LTV that we were quoted was like 40-something%. But we also knew it was going to be a great addition to our portfolio, and again, we knew exactly what we could do with it, and we knew what rents we were getting across the street, what we were providing, so it made sense on this one. I would say probably on most deals it wouldn't make sense, but it did on this one.
Now, when did you buy this?
2022.
Remember what was
October.
happening in 22 with interest rates and market values and all that stuff? The world was falling apart in real estate. I think you made the right choice here.
Thank you.
Was this on the market or off market?
It was off market. So I had found the owner online, and I called him, and he would talk to me, and then I would ask, okay, and he would say, I'm not going to sell the property. I'm not selling this property. It doesn't make sense for me to sell this property. He lived in California, and he was basically like, what am I going to do with this money if I sell this property, And so then I would say, okay, well, when should I call you next? And he would say, call me in a month. So I would put on my calendar, okay, I'm going to call him in a month, call Paul. And then I would call him a month later, and he'd still say, no, I'm not going to sell. And this went on for like a year and a half. But we'd have these really great conversations, and he would talk to me all the time. It was great. And then one day he was just like, okay, I think I'm ready to sell.
Perfect.
And I was like, all right.
So it really was calling your name every time you drove by.
It really was, yes. And he was so nice, too. We got along so well. We would talk about all sorts of stuff. He'd tell me all these stories about, when I was younger, I traveled to here. And we became friends.
Very cool.
Sweet.
More questions? Any questions online? Yes, sir.
So I would say this.
Hold on, wait, we got,
Sorry.
Yeah, so the question is, there's different classifications, A, B, C, D for apartments or
Yeah.
commercial. And so what was this when you bought it?
This was a C-class property in a B-class neighborhood.
so she did what we teach.
Right.
You buy the dog in the nice area, and then you fix that sucker up.
And she definitely knew it was a nice area because she had the place just right across
Yeah.
right around the corner. So the existing property, that 100 unit you had, would you call that a B?
So it's a B. It's a B right now, yeah, for sure. And I would say at the beginning, when we bought it, it was
C plus?
kind of it was poorly, very, very mismanaged. It was just mismanaged. Yes. Yeah. So that's a great question.
Well, real quick, she said
Sorry.
most of the rehab was on the outside. Did you keep the same appliances, or what? Maybe a little more clarity is what you did on the interiors.
So the interiors were a little bit of a hodgepodge. The company that had managed it before had managed it for a long time, and the guy who was the property manager also did a lot of the make-readies in the units. So what was nice about them is that the cabinetry was all very strong, in good condition, and that can be a big expense and a real pain. But we basically, each unit that turns, some of them have black appliances already. So if they do, that's great. So black appliances in this area are a thing. You want to have black appliances, the nicer apartments do. So we knew on buying this, we walked all the units during due diligence. We knew, okay, some of them have black appliances, but most of them have white. So the white ones, we would just remove the white ones and put in new black appliances. And then as far as the flooring, the other thing was we planned ahead of time, okay, we're going to make sure we have in our budget new flooring. Some of the floors already had plank in the bedrooms, so we would just put the plank throughout the common areas. And we just kind of did what needed to be done. Of course, we're adding nice fixtures and faucets, but if the fixtures and the faucets in the apartment were already nice, brushed nickel or, the black, then we would just keep those and replace what needed to be replaced. So we try to do what makes sense.
So you weren't just replacing just because you had a different,
Right.
Standard. If they were already good,
Yeah,
you let
we
them
try
know.
to be really thoughtful about it. The roof was only, I think it was 2 years old when we bought it. They had brand new, it's a flat roof, TPO, but brand new roof. So that was great. We didn't really have to worry a whole lot about that. And the plumbing we've had, it's PVC, so that's good. We've had some plumbing issues, but again, in our budget ahead of time, we planned, okay,
Yeah.
this is an older property, and we know we're probably going to have some issues, so we put a number in there.
So
and-
before you closed on the deal and before you finalized everything, you had an inspection.
Yes,
And you went ahead
many
and
inspections,
checked
yeah.
all those things out to make sure those big ticket items were
Yeah.
either addressed or that you had capital to take care of them.
We actually do that right away. We always ask to have early access to the property and have the major things looked at. So plumbing would be one of them, electrical, roof, that kind of stuff. Because those are really the deal breakers if it's major and you aren't planning on it.
Kevin Bain.
You have to deal with any aluminum wiring?
No, there's no aluminum wiring. It was all copper. Yeah.
There's a question online about laundry rooms. Are there hookups?
There
in
is
the
a
unit?
laundry room.
Okay.
There's a laundry room there. There's no washer dryer connections and not really a possibility to add washer dryer connections. Actually, this was also a really nice complement to our property across the street because it offers a more basic apartment home than the one across the street does. So it gives people, and we price it out that way. So all of our 2 bedrooms and larger 1 bedrooms across the street have washer dryer connections, and every apartment has a private balcony or patio. And in this apartment community, they don't, but they're priced a little bit lower. And also, there's a laundry room, but the laundry room is right there. I mean, you could kind of see the structure. It's just one big courtyard.
Yeah, so you had a little bit of diversity in your quality of product so you
Yeah.
can serve different markets. Right.
Yeah.
Do you get to collect quarters, or do you have the
No,
app?
it's on the app, or you can pay with credit card.
You're missing out.
Am I?
Are you doing quarter collection?
I do quarters.
Do I need to get into the quarters?
Who likes quarters? Anybody like vending machines? Oh, it's like the greatest thing ever. I love it.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think it's okay. You know, this app works pretty well.
Do you collect them with a
Comes
top
right
hat
to
and a
ya.
spectacle and got a bag? It's got a
Once a
dollar
month.
We go
sign
through
on
them
it?
every month, see if we get any of those old quarters.
yeah.
Yeah, because they're worth $5 to $7. So.
You ever get any?
So you're
No.
making more than just the quarter.
Not yet, yeah.
Wait, you haven't gotten any yet?
Not yet.
You're
yet,
still
not
holding
yet.
on.
Yeah.
Keep trying.
Yep. Someday.
Any more questions? All right, let's give Janine a round of applause. Oh, hold on. There's a question that you want to ask. What would you do? You were just getting started.
You had a question?
What would you tell the new folks
Yes,
in
sir.
the room or online?
Oh.
You've been there.
Just take a step, even if it's a tiny step. Get out of your comfort zone. You know, even if it's just entering a conversation that you feel like you have nothing to contribute. Just by listening, you're probably going to learn a little tidbit of something, and then guess what? The next time you'll be a little more comfortable. So it doesn't have to be, you know, everybody talks about like, take a step. It doesn't have to be this huge thing like go buy a house tomorrow. You know, just do something.
I will
Just
challenge
you
you.
can.
to
Putting
that.
yourself
I will.
out
I
there.
will challenge you to do
Yes,
that.
you should do that. You should do that. But it's okay if you're on a different pace. You know, just keep moving forward.
All right.
All right.
Now
thank
we
you.
can clap.
Yeah, no. Big round of applause. Big round of applause.